Yes, I got it. All right. Oh, is it live? Start sending us your video from your streaming software to go live. That's what I... Yep, I think I did go live. That's weird.
Cool. Should we send out the cast? Or did you?
Yeah. So I'll give you the YouTube link in the Discord. All right. YouTube link is in Discord. I'm about to cast it as soon as I fix your video. Yep,
Is
there
this
you go.
policy show number 2? Oh, there we go. I found it.
Okay. Did I share the wrong one?
I
I think I
so.
might have. Okay, let me... Oh, weird.
2.
Yeah, okay. This is the right one. Yeah, I did. Huh. Yep, number 9. All right, fix your camera. Bada bing. All right. Hooey. How long's it been? Has it been almost a month, or maybe it was like 3 weeks?
I think almost a month.
Almost a month.
I think our last episode was right before the holiday or Christmas break.
Dang.
Which, thank God, I needed
Yeah.
all that time to be
Totally
off.
fair.
I'm trying to see if I can see it. I can't see there. Oh, there we go. And now you have your move to the new place.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is working.
Finally, Wi-Fi is working. Oh my gosh. Got the Ethernet back. Just got stuff to, get out of boxes. You know the deal.
Yeah. We're hoping to buy a house in like the next few months.
Ooh.
And I am not looking forward to the moving process. But hopefully this will be like one of the last moves for a while.
Yeah, you think you'll pay for movers though?
If we can afford to. Yeah.
Yeah.
We live on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex, and like these records are fucking heavy.
Ooh.
I have like 1,000 of them.
Ooh.
So yeah, the last time we paid someone to help move them up, and we hired someone from like this like sketchy third-party website, and they just posted on Craigslist and hired people.
What?
And the people that they hired were not physically fit to be able to carry things up 3 flights of stairs.
They
And
arbitraged Craigslist on you? What the
yeah,
heck?
yeah. So we paid this fee, and then like these people were completely underpaid, and I ended up doing most of the work. But it's all good.
That's capitalism for you in a nutshell.
Yeah. And it like the website looked like it was professional movers, all these things, and no,
Which
just
anyone can just
Craigslist.
make so easily now.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll cast this from Cura. We are live and alive for episode number 9.
like watching it on YouTube and I can't see you on Discord, so it's like this
Oh.
very delayed
Oh, actually,
reaction.
you're right. I usually share my screen when we do this. Oh, come on, let me do it real quick. Ah, dang. Discord browser not the same, but since I made the move, I I think because our power got shut off and I when we did the switch, cuz like in Texas, you're not beholden to like whatever power companies are available or the one monopoly you have. You get to choose on the free market from all of these providers, and then when you move you just tell them your change of address, and so they become your electricity provider there. But my PC was still plugged in at the house, and I think that like bricked a bunch of my files. So
Oh,
Discord has not worked since I moved in, but the browser is working relatively. Took me a while to get the microphone working though.
yeah, so I know we were supposed to do the call last week, and that did not happen. Um,
We still
but
had
yeah,
a call though.
we had a call, so we did the FaceTime call, just you
Yeah.
and I, which was good. But yeah, we successfully launched the politics token. So thank you so much for your help with that. I'm actually glad that your Ethernet was not working
Ah,
because people did not have to see me struggle for an hour and a half to launch a token.
but the content, bro, they love to see us struggling. They love to see a good struggle. Oh
Yeah.
man. I was thinking the whole time, oh, we got Hamalama. Whoa, check out you. What up, Hamalama? Yeah, I'm wondering if people have an easier time joining on YouTube now.
I feel like
GM
that's what
Farcaster might have.
Good Morning Farcaster does as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, and
But
let
yeah,
me.
everyone was seeing how much I do not know anything related to crypto and how much I don't really, yeah, just don't know the process. I feel like it's so hard to be successful in this space unless like you have like the deep knowledge of Web3. Um, so yeah, very grateful for the time that we spent together trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I mean, you got to learn a whole lot just by doing. And that's what I've had to do. It's very different like reading on the tools and seeing them get used and trying, and then it's a whole different ball game when you're creating these tokens. And oh man, all the troubleshooting we had to do. Switch to base chain, switch to base chain. Okay, let's try another wallet. Okay, let's try another wallet. Switch to base chain, switch to base chain.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it worked. Was it Farcaster wallet that I finally worked with?
Farcaster being in the mini app, that finally worked.
Yeah.
Yo, we got John Bull, we got Hamalama. What's up? What's up? Yusufafis. That's how you say that username. Yusufafis. Don't think that. Are you from Farcaster, Yusuf? Yusuf? But we finally got it launched. Here, we can show it off a little bit. We need to add the banner though on here, which I don't think I had one. I know you have it. So you just you can't really see it on the on my stream, but it says add banner up in the top left. I was thinking about making a really dumb Empire description because I don't know if you've ever read read the live stream descriptions for the show on the YouTube, but I put the dumbest things. What did I put? Cause you got into my head about the I like the generic, just like dumb names.
Yeah, just say what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not creative enough to come up with something that's an actual good name. So I'm just like, okay, we're just gonna call it politics. We're gonna call it the politics token. We're gonna call it
Yep.
the politics show.
Yep. Yeah, where's the one where I had a
Branding.
description? Oh, yep, here we go. Welcome to Farcaster's own politics channel show where we talk all about politics and stuff. You know how it goes. This is the end of the description. I would copy that for this one now. Oh, man. But we launched it. For those of you who don't know, Hamalama, John Bull, I think y'all are both familiar with Empire Builder. Oh, it's SNR Captain. Yeah. So, bunch of scumrads in the chat. Oh, and did you see my cast? You want to pin that on Politics channel? Because there is no way to get discovered on Farcaster live. There's only those damn announcements. The algorithm. They need to make an exception where it's looking for, oh, this person is mentioning the word live. Like, even if it's a audio spaces or a stream, we need Farcaster algo to be picking up those much faster.
I mean, is Farcaster even around still?
Shut up, bro. Don't talk like that, you bastard. Was that the episode you paid to promo politics? Was the one where they're talking about Farcaster being dead?
Yeah. I make the best advertisement decisions that you can have.
Oh,
I need
man.
to actually ping.
Oh, man, that's funny. They're talking. So join. Speaking of Farcaster being dead, join Politics channel.
It was before, I think. Like, they talked about the Politics channel. They talked about what we're trying to do. Shared the cast, and then debated whether or not everything that we're doing together is actually worthwhile, or if the protocol is going to disappear.
We're just gonna be acquired, and then we're gonna get killed. Acquired to be killed. Oh, just like any good Hollywood movie. Oh, Hamalama FUD is good. Politics app coming back. Prediction markets are the narrative right now, dude. Polycast is back online. You might have missed one of my casts, but I made my very first prediction market. So I did, which, yeah, I think I picked the perfect timing for this market question. And I like that it can be resolved really quickly and we can just recycle it and keep running it again because it makes sense. I did, where is it? I just created my first prediction market yesterday. Will there be a verified strike by the U.S. and I very glad I thought to add or Israeli military within Iran territory before, and this is 7 days from when I did it. So, broski, Hamalama, it is back. DWR won't sell the client, maybe the protocol. See, I think you don't sell the protocol, maybe you sell the client. You can't give away the protocol because no, and I think keep building and selling clients. Realistically, DWR can keep selling new clients to, like, let's go the hyper crazy scenario where Meta wants a protocol play. They see the future because they have open source their llama, so when they have, I imagine, in their business with metaverses, they've kind of learned a little bit adjacently to protocolization and decentralization, right? So I could see realistically, like, oh, we want access to Farcaster, or maybe it's at protocol, whichever. I think it would be more reasonable for Dan to try to sell a client because you can always build more clients. But a protocol, brother, you can't sell the protocol and then go build another. You're starting from scratch. I say sell the purple app and then go to Coinbase and develop their TBA app. Get hired by them. That would be the best kind of least worst case scenario where the protocol can keep getting development, kind of like Ethereum Foundation keeps developing Ethereum. and farcaster can just grow the clients, because I do think we need a lot more clients, and we need a lot more interesting clients being built. And then I need all of those clients supporting mini apps, because I really like mini apps. I think that is a huge edge and just makes the most sense for social finance, to be building integrated apps. That's composability, that's modularity. So we absolutely, and then just keep adding more chain support. You know, get away from just base in Solana, add some more primitive Ethereum L1 support, get the Bitcoiners their own little thing. I think whatever they want to do, give them something at the Farcaster protocol level that interacts with Bitcoin. And then just keep, Farcaster doesn't have to be dead. It doesn't. We can just keep trudging along. I think crypto is experiencing like a maturation. Like we're kind of over the bull and bear cycles that came before, and they're just not swinging as hard up or down as before. And people
Yeah,
are
I
kind of
mean,
like, "Oh, that sucks." And it's like, "Well, that's a more reasonable logical market, and you've kind of hit the ceiling of what retail around the world has to offer." So now you're talking about institutions and nations are the only ones you can sell to next.
I just think we're like crypto's hit such of a large, I mean, it's just like a grift. And we saw Mayor Adams like just
Oh,
do a huge rug pull. We've seen so many just
yeah.
rug pulls, and I think this is one of the things that has been concerning to me generally is that like I know we've talked about affordability a lot in the past, but like I don't know if you've seen those Kalshi ads where people it was being
I scroll
discussed on
them so
Farcaster,
fast, but I get all of them. Oh my god.
but they're like, oh, I just bet my entire rent because I couldn't afford rent on the weather, and now I can pay rent next week,
That's an ad?
and it's something like that,
Something,
and
oh, yeah, I
I
can
just
see
think
it.
like
Yeah.
everything is just like you can't afford to live. So why don't you bet and try to see if you can afford
See
to
if
pay
you
for your
luck
groceries
out.
next week?
Yeah.
Uh, which is one of the things that like I do think that we should be having discussions on, especially with Polycast and like the questions that we're doing,
Yeah.
where I'm starting to think that like we should just be less betting on like negative outcomes and more taking
Mm.
like positions on
Ooh.
positive things that like society wants us to do. And even
Agreed.
if it's just like always just vote no because the
Yeah.
outcome is probably going to be no, I feel like that's where the attention should be going, and less on like will there be another strike on Iran? Like I'm not dishing you for putting out that question,
Yeah.
like that question's everywhere, but it's just like I don't care if this like military industrial complex continues to fund wars and continues to find
Pretty easy to
opportunities.
predict that stuff.
Yeah. But like will we have free healthcare or like national paid
Hmm.
family leave or like these like positive things that actually have good outcomes for
Mm.
humanity? And at the end of the day, like vote no, or if enough of us like vote yes and then we start paying for like we have enough skin in the game, like maybe we can drive
Exactly.
change. um but even like I think politically I've been so frustrated with all these gambling like things that it just like feels so negative to me. And last week I had the opportunity to be at this retreat in Austin, Texas, and I was with like 20 other individuals from like 10 states across the nation, people from like Alaska. We had individuals from Maine, from Texas, like just really across the entire board. And so many people are doing great work to influence like good policy and try to get more people engaged at like just the local state level and then also at the federal level, but like actually
Yeah,
like there's
local
so
and
much
state.
good things happening that I want now that we I keep going
And
back and
then
forth.
Nick
I'm just like,
Shirley happens.
yeah, gambling meta. But it's like this past week, the governor of Rhode Island uh, highlighted his kind of priority to fully fund or well to pay for an expansion and paid family medical leave in their state. And like maybe those are the things that we're like, will this happen? Yes. Will this happen? No.
Right.
And dive deeper into this like
And you had
actual
that new
policy that's impacting people.
Momdani daycare expansion, right? Making universalizing pre-K, and yeah, you probably know a little
Yeah, I
bit more
think
of those
going down
details.
to like it's going down to 2-year-olds, which is
Yeah,
great. Like you
yeah.
combine that with paid family medical leave, like parents are able to take the first. I mean, ideally, you would have at least like 6 months off,
Mm-hmm.
but then you don't need to find like you can find care pretty quickly. I think there's a lot of good things that we can use Polycast to uplift overall.
Yeah. And I think ultimately where what distinguishes us from the poly market and the Kalshis is one, we're just a digitally localized little community. I think when people describe prediction markets as just betting with your friends, I think taking the multi-billion-dollar token company whatever out of the equation makes that statement true, because what you have when you reach this, and I think it should be a goal of ours to not grow Polycast too large. Like, I think the channel and the content and the engagement should grow first and faster and be the more predominant thing. And then this is one of those complementary utilities amongst a bunch of other apps that we have for politics to keep you engaged, to incentivize you in unique and novel ways. But when you keep things local, when you keep them amongst friends, one, you get more fun odds. So our odds are not we're not going to be trying to match whatever Polymarket and Kalshi are. We're not going to be trying to build oracles so that our business model is running so efficiently that Polycast is driving all this value to politics token. I don't think that is the goal, because then we would be maximizing for extraction. I think the goal is get people engaged, get people having skin in the game and a reason to be talking politics, to be putting money where their mouth is, and it's amongst friends. And it's with a token that you can earn for free. That's the really big thing that makes me feel like it's more of a pseudo gambling app. When you can earn the token for free, you're making the decision, the conscious choice, whether you know it or not, whether you have the knowledge or info or don't. You can always get more active, pay more attention, and you will know. You just cast into politics like you should be doing, and then you get some tokens to put into the polycasting. If gambling and prediction markets are something you love doing, but you feel weird about, or I that's just the biggest there's no way I can go into polymarket unless it's like my first sign up, right? The first hit's always free. Well, that's not true for us. The first hit you can earn for free, and then you can keep earning free hits. That's what I see as being the more fun differentiator, and then it has some value behind it. So when you're making these decisions, and then once you place the bet, then it's like you're saying, where if we're betting on these positive sum outcomes, maybe that is the push that gets people more showing up to their town hall meetings, writing their congressman about said healthcare that they're trying to get passed. It's just one more thing in our tool belt to get people more engaged.
Yeah. And I do think at some point, if we got Polycast to be large enough, like there is such a prohibitive like barrier to doing polling. And I was kind of talking to Derek about this a while back, but like where there is some opportunity to like do goodwill within the poly market space is that you can actually see. Oh, did you post that? You all still there? Where you can
Yeah.
actually like use it to try to predict whether or not a policy could move forward. So if you if we were in Nevada and I was thinking of doing a ballot initiative to pass a income tax, and we throw up a poly market or polycast question on that, like, will there be a new income tax in Nevada in 2028? Polling would, or odds would be like at 1%.
Right.
And then you would kind of know, okay, this is not going to be something that's valuable in the future. But if you put forward that question and then odds came out at 70%, and you could
Mm-hmm.
say, like, oh, it does seem like this, like, the community feels like this has a really good chance of moving forward, like, you can use that in like a very progressive public good way to inform our lawmakers on
Right.
what we anticipate would pass, versus right now the only mechanism to do that is polling. So you have to go out into the community, you have to pay a pollster
Yeah.
thousands upon thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to actually, like, poll the community to show whether or not this policy is viable.
Mm-hmm.
And like having I think once we kind of drill down to really being in this like niche political market where we have politicos that understand local and state policies, understand like trends, I think there is some like good opportunity to actually use prediction markets to reduce barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's one of the things I've been thinking about overall.
Mm. Why isn't the mini app wanting to load for me? Has it worked on desktop for you? I know it works on
No,
mobile.
no, it never works on desktop. I
Damn
need
it.
to talk to AO about that. If you to go to polycast.xyz, you can actually see all the questions.
Oh, sick. Yay. Haha. So we went over my first thing. Okay. Has there been more volume in here? I think so, because, man, I was
Slowly,
looking at
I've
it
been
once.
adding some volume. I was just making some bets.
That's what it
Um,
was.
but I think we're at this point where we've launched the token. Um, it might be helpful for us to talk about kind of what our thinking was with the token and then go into Polycast a little bit more. But we launched, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so right now there's 10% of the token that's
Hmm.
out, that's floating, that you can purchase. And we are holding back 90%, which will be used in a positive way in the future.
Hmm. Yep. So, as well as what we've been doing with the Buster token and these weekly leaderboards, there's going to be distribution that way. And then what I'm really excited about is that's one way, but that's outflow. And it's not necessarily with Cura, you're just casting to earn. You're not necessarily buying or holding the token. So Glenker Empire is a really good tool for getting really dedicated holders and surfacing those. I already added some boosters. So you can see we got the Politicos NFT and the Buster token if you hold at least 200,000 of it. So hopefully you didn't sell right after the politics airdrop. I don't know why people would attempt selling an old token because they think it has value, but then you go to sell it and it's not going to be worth anything. You have a new token with the value in it. So hopefully you kept it. Then you can see how that affects the leaderboard scores. So Trish comfortably at first place up here. She's got max boosters plus like pretty much a max quotient ethos score too. So that boosts her base holdings of what she has in politics times 16.9. Now she's at that 2.6 billion score. And that's how, so this is what we'll be airdropping new NFTs to, airdropping more of the treasury, and we can do all sort, like if we add free bets to Polycast, we can airdrop those weekly to the top holders of our empire. Like there's so much utility we can do, and it's all about rewarding those that hold the most of your stuff over time. So politics token is now that base primary umbrella thing. If you don't know much about us and you want to get more involved, just earn or buy politics. And then as you learn, we'll be adding more boosters, and that's just more stuff you can engage with. So maybe we'll do something like the top polycast predictors every week, kind of like how you were sending out the politicos to the top casters. Cura is already doing a good job of that. Maybe there'll be a separate one for that. But interesting, fun little experiments, POIDH bounties. So anyone who completes those, boom, we can add them as boosters. So that'll be really fun. That'll hopefully get some more people interested in completing them, because did we ever get the picture at the Capitol resolved and those
No,
different
so
ones? Damn.
they had an exploit like
Oh, that's what happened.
a few months ago. So we had to pull all of the
Right.
Pixar didn't happen kind of activities that we had posted. But I've been kind of talking with Kenny. I know that they just relaunched the app. I think right now the first
Uh-huh.
Pixar didn't
I was
happen is
seeing
like
that.
take a picture and upload that picture.
Uh-huh.
But I think next week we'll be able to start
Sweet.
actually like posting these activations. And I think that is where we are actually will be able to grow this community
Yeah.
is what we're going to be doing. I think we're going to start off with a few $100 activation competitions. So if you, they're going to be pretty simple. Like, so go to a Capitol building, take
Mm-hmm.
a photo, well, actually take a video. We're going to be switching the videos a little bit
Ooh.
of take a video outside the Capitol, come tell us what it's
Uh-huh.
like. If you know any facts, that would be great. And then we'll be giving, kind of raffling off $100 to whoever completes that task.
Oh, so
But
we
the
could have
good
a
thing,
bunch of people completing it, and then at a set date raffle a big prize to one of them. I
yeah,
like it. I like it.
yeah, so that's the kind of idea. And one of the good things with us relaunching politics is that kind of the process that we did was we took out, so we withdrew the entire liquidity pool for Buster. So that's why there's not really like the coin is, the token's pretty much dead and there's not liquidity there. But we did a pre buy of the politics tokens. We
With
sent that
all
pre
of that
buy.
liquidity.
Yeah, with that liquidity, we sent that pre-buy out to all the Buster holders. We did have to make a decision of we could only send it out to the top 350 holders, which really meant if you had like 70 cents or less of Buster, you
Yeah.
kind of just lost out on that 70 cents. If that is like make or break for you in your life, reach out to me. I'll refund
Yeah.
you 70
Show us
cents.
your base scam
Uh,
transactions. Definitely do your due diligence. Don't make us do everything to investigate, but we would love to make you whole. It's fine.
yeah.
John Bull, we
But so
know
that
you're good.
Yeah, so the top 350 actually got a little bit more in the holdings
Right.
than what they would have received. But since we did have the politics token, it was farmed somewhat heavily right at the beginning. We were able to receive about like 1.18 ETH um, that we'll be using for kind of promotion and then also to really kind of have a good amount of money to do these like Pixar thing happen. So I think we're kind of right now committing to spend around $1,000 to do these promotions, or at least 10 of them in the future. But we're really hoping that we can just do these things where it's not a partisan way, but go to the Capitol, show us what it is, go to a legislative hearing, or go to a um, any like city hall hearing, take a video of you there, like walking in, or take a video outside of the hearing, and really kind of I think our goal is to use this liquidity pool, like to use whatever we make from the liquidity fees and the liquidity pool and put that back into these like political activations overall,
Yeah.
which I'm really excited about. We didn't have those funds before. How we set up the Buster liquidity pool didn't give us any of the fees. It just kind of went back into the
Mm-hmm.
liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm excited for this new change of like I feel like we're finally able to actually do things.
Yeah, and there's some inflow as well as the outflow. It felt like just outflow before. It was just slowly, dying out all the eating itself of all the funds. But now we're Clanker. Clanker's acquired by Farcaster. We're Farcaster native, biggest politics engaged community. I think it all just aligns really well now. And the ticker is not confusing. I think for when it was just the 37 of us having fun in politics channel, yeah, we all joked and memed about Buster and the cute cat stuff. But I think growing from here, this was definitely one of those necessary steps, was to migrate. And the best place to migrate was going to be Clanker.
Yeah. And I think I see Jumble saying can put in that Kira hasn't been doing too well. And one of the nice things about Farcaster and being on the protocol is that that
We're
politics is
flexible.
working on every single client.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I imagine we'll start seeing is that people potentially will be posting into the channel still,
Mm-hmm.
or using
Yeah.
the hashtag of politics
Or
to
using the
post into
ticker.
politics.
Yeah.
And I have somewhat kind of been doing a shift of doing my political casts using the ticker,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes doing my political cast into the channel. It really depends on where I'm casting from. But I think as often as we can to uplift just politics overall, um, it'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
But we're still competing with base that they don't really have the ticker, they really don't have the channel. So we're trying to figure out in all of these different protocols and different or all these different apps on the protocol, like how do we build this community for all of them?
Right.
Cool. You want to talk about the polycast questions?
Let's get into it. Oh, let me adjust this a little bit.
And while you're adjusting, the other thing that I am kind of thinking as a big shift is I have felt that we're missing the days where when I was giving out the Politicos NFT, when we were doing like the Degen tips in the politics community, it was much more personal.
Right.
I think if Cure has been great, and it's so great that we can do an airdrop to people who are casting into the channel and provide that kind of that weekly revenue and kind of recognition.
Right.
But one of the things that I want us to, that I'm hoping we can shift back to, is doing more of these personal
Yeah.
recognitions. That I've seen a lot of people, they're still curating in the channel, like Wayseeker. I noticed that she's been doing a lot. Like, I want to spend more time recognizing the people that are fully bought in
Mm.
and bringing, like, supporting them in the community, giving them more tokens, giving them more share of what we're doing versus doing a across the board airdrop. And I
Yeah.
think like the leaderboard would be good for that, but that I want to go back to being much more personable
Yeah.
and more relationship based because that is where I am missing. I'm kind of missing
Mm-hmm.
that community, and I think, and that's really where I think the internet is lacking
Mm.
overall. And what I want within a politics community is people that actually know each other, that we're building this thing together, and we have this aligned vision. And if you have that aligned vision, if you're fully bought in, you're going to be receiving a larger benefit than
Mm-hmm.
others that are just casting into the channel.
Right. And I think, I mean, that's where your token holdings, which could be just what you've earned in the channel, plus the boosters we add, surfaces a lot of those people on there. And then as you were talking, feeling out for whatever top rank, whether it's the top 20 or 50, going back to, or I think there's a way where we can add some tip in functionality, not just like a season. I think somewhere where we can loop Empire and tip in and go kind of like we have curation powers. all right, now we have incentivization powers. If you buy enough politics token, just like you did with Degen, there's kind of this flywheel where now you get more ability to give out politics token. Because I really like tipping allowances. I think it gives people a bit of a sense of urgency to get active in those channels, a little bit of FOMO. If you don't use it, you lose it. It gets recycled back in all, and you can just, as long as you're not farming it out to just like your alt accounts, that is the kind of behavior we love seeing. Is all right, you and all your friends tipping all your best takes and you helping support each other, and that is so like the culture you can't find anywhere else. Unless it's people paying out of pocket to tip, which isn't really happening all that much. I'd say the velocity of generosity goes up way higher with these tipping allowances. I think that's the primitive that Degen taught us. And it was such a helpful primitive just for the politics channel in its early growth. Like you getting that degen allowance and using it to just fan the flame of activity helped grow politics. And I think the more people we can get that are educated and based enough in their knowledge to know how to tip correctly, because if you don't know, you kind of ruin the fun if you're just tipping to your alt accounts. If you're tipping to your one friend because you're too lazy to scroll the channel and find some good takes that you like, you know, as long as we can keep iterating on the ways to moderate for that behavior we do want, because that's what I love about social finance is you have this reputation, you have this ID, whether it's anonymous or not, you have this profile that we can punish. So if you're going to be farming, if you're going to be doing this stuff, okay, well, sorry, but you didn't follow the rules. You're out of the game. But then we can keep adjusting the rules and adding more fun game mechanics. And for those who want to play the right way, and because there's a lot of stuff that's just common sense, like just be fun, make it play to earn, not pay to earn, and people will keep coming around.
Yeah. And I think the commute, what I have learned since we first started is the value and the need for us to do a better job building community.
Yeah.
And I think just like even you and I, like I would not have
Yeah.
known you
Yeah.
unless we started having this like deep dive and intentionality into building this community. And I feel like now you're fully part and like my co-partner and everything that we're
Right.
doing together. And I I feel like I missed that mark after we launched Buster. I felt like
Mm.
I was trying to get this token to as many people as possible. I was trying
Mm.
to get the word out to so many people. And honestly, if it's just 20 of us
Yeah.
that like to talk about politics and it's this like small niche group
Yeah.
that are able to have good conversations, are able to share news, are able just to chat and enjoy what is somewhat or if there's anything enjoyable about talking about politics.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason we're interested in it and I want us to spend more time doing that of
Yeah.
you're interested, you're committed, I enjoy being in this community and that's what we're supporting and that's what we're growing.
Yeah. And I think helping fund, helping people giving them some token allocations, all of that, because Perp and I were talking about, oh man, we need Drop Site, we need Mazum Hussein and Ryan Grimm all making some money to be here on Farcaster because they're such a public good and necessity. So doing projects and partnerships like that, I think having a politics token, not just the channel, having that, ooh, it's such a high market cap. Wow. Even though we know it's the 10% flow, it's the creator buy, but it helps open so many more doors of possibility. And I think it gives people a reason to want to connect and get deeper into the community. And the more tools we make to help filter those people. Because I think what we should be doing is doubling down. There's what, like 1,200 people that are members of the politics channel. There's about 12,000, 13,000 that are followers. I would say maximizing for 10% of the members, so about 120 people, and that's really good to filter with this leaderboard. Those 120, and then if we have 10%, 12 that are whales and love their whole life is wrapped into nerding out on politics and they love spending money on it. I think us hitting those 12 and making them really happy, and then having 120 active contributors who are, they're good curators, they're good moderators, they're good tippers, they're good clippers, and then they're good creators too. We need those, like I said, the Mosms, the drop sites, wanting to come here, wanting to post, especially into politics channel. We want them on Farcaster protocol, but we want those political takes to specifically be happening in our channels, and for us to be collaborating and interacting with the entire orbit. So making this place feel much more homely, much more communal and public than what you get when you have this no feeling algorithm, when you have this behemoth platform that could not give a shit about you. They've outsourced all of their teams and interactions with you to third parties that have nothing really to do with the actual day-to-day operations of Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, all of those. We have a chance to really build something here at a protocol level that is much better than platforms, which I am a die I'm a either I'm going to cast until the Farcaster protocol dies. I refuse to accept defeat until there is a better protocol out there. At maybe we'll be able to do that. It's not up to my standards of what kind of features I want yet, but they could look at Farcaster one day and adopt all those things. But as it stands, Farcaster is my only name of the game in town. So if no one wants to realize the necessity of being at the protocol level, and you want to live at the whims of your techno feudal lords on whatever platform, fine. I will go down screaming the gospel truth that you should be owning your data, you should be owning your profile, you should have more autonomy of moving around and yeah. You know the spiel better, but that's why we're here. That's what we're building towards. And yeah, 12 to 120, I think that will lend tremendous success for any token. And I think we have that more higher trust built network being on the social side of things.
Okay, so I know we're at the hour. Let's
Oh, shoot.
talk about politics a little bit
Let's do a little
and
bit
go
of
through
it.
these polycast questions. I know I added a few that were not written in the best way, and we have a 200 character limit, so it's hard to communicate the best questions. So let's talk about them for a moment.
So, next question. Will a partial or full U.S. federal government shutdown occur at any time after 11:59 Eastern, January 30th, and before 11:59 on February 15th? So, what's the significance of this date? Is that where they pushed some budget to the last time? Because that seems really
Yes,
soon.
yeah. So this is coming up pretty quickly, and the big question right now is they're within this budget agreement that they're going to be having to make is ICE funding. And there's some ICE
Mm.
funding that I don't think that the Dems want another government shutdown.
Is this on
I
top of the funding they already got? The 150
Yeah,
billion, I think it was.
this is on top. So this is what is just in kind of the budgetary reconciliation that they have to do, or the budgets that they have to continually pass every single year. Um, so there is Homeland Security funding within that budget, and for me, the question is, I think if you actually look on Polymarket or um, other kind of prediction markets,
Mhm.
they are not almost at 50% odds. The odds are much more at the no. I think it's like 60 or
Really?
70% no for having a shutdown. But my big question is whether or not Democrats believe that they should uplift ICE and how ICE has been operating in Minneapolis and how ICE has been operating across the country if they want to bring that to the national level and shut down. I'm not that's not at the national level,
Mhm.
but do they want to have enough influence to say this is not what we stand for as a country and we're not going to fund the government until things calm down and ICE is
Right.
removed or X, Y, or Z? There's a lot of questions on that. Um, I think it's an interesting question, especially as we're coming closer to the November elections, the midterm elections.
I
We saw the last time they did the government shutdown was
Yeah,
to
what's
try
your
to
analysis?
continue.
Do Dems dig their heel this time and deliver another L for the Republicans when it shuts down that helps them in November? Because I'm worried that they're the Washington Generals, right? They're always versing the Harlem Charters, and the Democrats are just built to lose all the time. They're built to feign to act like they're going for victory and always lose. And so if I was doing my analysis, I would be going, yeah, make a hard stance on this ICE funding. And if the Republicans capitulate, they take the ICE funding out of the bill. That's a W for the Democrats. If they don't, and you have another shutdown based on this ICE funding, and you make that your leverage core issue, which they're they're messaging away from defund, or they're messaging away from abolish ICE into defund ICE. So this still goes along that narrative. They just got 150 billion. You've seen what's going on in Minneapolis, poor voter. We're making that hard stance for you. I feel that helps your November. So if they don't want to shut down, I think the only way is you take the ICE funding out. If but the Trump administration has kind of proven again and again that they're willing to walk into such like a hornet's nest just to feel out what happens. And if the consequences are too astronomical, they back away. But they're not afraid to confront and at least get an initial reaction. So I'm pretty confident this is a yes on shutdown. Unless the Dems do the unthinkable and they capitulate and say, oh, well, they reduced the ICE funding. Like it was initially this much, but we got it down to this. It's like, no, they don't need anything more right now.
Yeah, so I disagree with your
Damn
analysis.
it.
I I'm actually I think it's a no. So if I was the Democratic Party, right now they're up. They are I think about sports a lot. They're up like two touchdowns. It's the fourth quarter and people are pissed. They're
Run the score up. They
they're
want to see the Republicans. Everyone wants to see the GOP get their ass beat right
but
now. So you need to keep running that score up. I don't care if it's only two touchdowns. You need to be up by 4 or 5. I want GOP embarrassed right now.
right, but what runs the score up? Is it you fix the problem before the election, or you address the problem before the election, or
I think you
is it that
accelerate the
ICE just
problem
gets
and you
so bad? ICE is getting like that. ICE continues just to upset and upset and upset voters, and people continue to get more and more engaged and more mobilized. And you have more Renee Good shootings. You have more of these instances that is going to drive out turnout
uh-huh.
in the November election. The same thing with the Affordable Care Act. Like those subsidies went away.
Right?
Returning the subsidies does not get you voters in November. What
No.
gets you voters is that you can say, look at these Republicans.
Mhm.
They are the reason your healthcare costs went up. Look at what they're doing in
Right?
Minneapolis. Look in all the other cities. We will stop that if you vote for us in
And
November.
you had AOC saying, "Look, ICE just got all this funding and your premiums just went up. That's the correlation. They took money from your healthcare to give it to ICE, and now look what they're doing. And that's where I almost go, be be a GOP accelerationist right now. You have until November to build as much hype and as much animosity with your opponent, because I don't think the Democrats are likable. I don't think they have any, you know, substantial policies that they stand for. The only thing that seems to be their winning strategy is letting their enemy embarrass themselves and identifying that hurt as from them. So as long as, if you shut the government down, if ICE keeps exacerbating issues, and there's nothing you as a Dem, because you're in the minority, can do to address those problems, you just keep letting them exacerbate, so that in November you are the only one trusted to fix the problem. And that's where I go, a shutdown is another problem that we saw last time GOP was blamed for it. This time they'll be blamed for it again. The leverage issue being ICE funding. Okay, no one likes ICE. Why are you trying to give them more money when my healthcare premiums just went up the last time you gave ICE funding? And now you're asking for even more. So how much is my healthcare going to go up this time? You keep messaging on that. You have the shutdown again, because make that Trump's legacy, that he will have the most days shut down. He will have the most times his government has been shut down. And let that be a stain on anyone in the MAGA, anyone with Trump's approval. Just be a GOP accelerationist, because I think helping them by trying to calm things, by trying to act in decorum and try to fix things, only helps the GOP look good. Because if you're fixing things, they're going to get the credit for calming down. I say, let them go wild. Keep the messaging against them, make every problem their problem, and then wait till November. I mean, I'm not everything gets fixed on the midterms guy. But if I'm thinking as a political analysis, if I'm running candidates, that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be fighting as hard. This is the moment to fight as
I
hard as
I
you
think
can fight.
I think the shutdown gives, if the Democrats go with the shutdown
Uh-huh.
and they force Republicans to address the ACA subsidies, or they somehow
ACA, no
force,
ICE funding. We'll stick
or
with
like,
those
yeah,
two.
they do those two things. Republicans agree in some sense, and then those things are not talking points in November anymore. And so the Democrats lose those talking points. Yeah, you would want your government to address the problems, but parties
Okay, so
are
you're
not
saying the
motivated.
opposite is accelerating, that if you give them that ICE funding, if you continually let the ACA subsidies elapse, then people keep feeling the hurt until November. See, I don't,
Yeah.
you're thinking pretty highly of the government shutdown getting resolved. I
But
think
and the
it's a bigger
but if
news
it doesn't
story.
get resolved, the issue is that then we go back to what happened the last time, what was October or
Yeah,
November, where they just
they
capitulated,
capitulated so hard.
and and they upset their voters because
Hmm.
they didn't actually get anything. And I think and what we are seeing Trump do is him saying, "Okay, you want to shut down the government? I'm going to do the most harm possible."
Hmm.
And I
And see,
don't think
that's
they
where
want
I
to
am the
risk
accelerationist.
being a part of that.
You let him shut it down, and then while it's shut down, he does that VOT shit again, where he's using the budgetary powers to essentially fire people and dissolve, whole administrations. I say let that happen. That will stick in the minds of the voters. Wait, another shutdown, and ICE ramps up operations, because I imagine during a government shutdown they're going to feel more freedom and liberty with even less accountability than they already have. Well, now the government's shut down. Oh yeah, we're nationalizing, we're militarizing the National Guard, we're sending them into Minneapolis. That's where I see the more mistakes being had by the GOP, and you saying that, oh well, if they have the shutdown and then the GOP capitulates and they deliver on no more ICE funding, and they deliver on ACA subsidies, so now everything's rosy until November, and that hurts the Dems. I don't think that happens. I think that's idealistic to think the GOP will capitulate this time. I think Democrats need to strategically stall. Maybe don't even do a government shutdown as long as before, or you either do the same thing as you did before and capitulate but try to get the marginal gains, but you let them make more mistakes during that shutdown. That will stay in their minds. But I really would hope that you just take a harder stance than you did before, and you let the shutdown run even longer than October, November, and you let them do the harm that they want to do. I think this is your second time trying to stand up to them. If they're going to do more harm the second time around, I think you, as the Democrat Party, have even less blame to be held responsible for. I think you're seen as a fighter, and even if the government is shut down all the way until November elections, which would be insane, but I think that's a feasible. That's the level of incompetency I see from this Trump admin. I don't see them capitulating and trying to have a functional federal government. They will just work within whatever means they're given and just do the maximum amount of harm possible, whether the government's open or shut. That's their goal. And I think Democrats need to make that more obvious. So if the government's shut down and shit's still sucking and Trump's the one who can reopen it, and he continually presses harder and harder, which I think is that's his only speed to me, it seems, is double down, ramp up the speed until the Supreme Court tells me to back up, which I think he's waiting for his opportune moment to say no to them too. But
Yeah.
I say you let your enemy make the mistakes, and you you just kind of hold down till November, but you make a real big dramatic show of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Democratic Party, and like I would be with you. I would shut
Yeah.
down the government. I would allow for maximum pain because I do agree that you would be able to demonstrate that you're a strong arming, that you're willing to take a stand, and you don't believe what the Trump
Right.
administration is doing is correct. That
But
being
yeah.
said, neither one of us are
Yeah.
the Democratic Party, and they have shown time
I know.
and time again
I
that
know.
their one that strategy is more risky. It You are a part of, I mean, SNAP benefits going away, um, TANF potentially, like all of the programs that found that your voters rely on, and also Republican voters rely on, would get shut down, and you would be a part of that. Do I think that's a valid? Like, I agree with you. Do I think that's a valid reason? Yes, but if you're the Democrat elite and you are up 14 points in the fourth quarter, everything shows that you are taking back the House next year.
Yeah.
Everything's showing that you might win the Senate next year. Like, why
Yeah.
would you take the risk of doing anything other than saying we're going to pass a clean CR and we are going to win in November, and that's what we're doing? Because right now, the Trump administration is doing enough to upset voters. Until they really focus on the affordability crisis, and like, yeah, you can just make believe that
Yeah.
groceries are going lower
Yeah.
and
You can
all these other
adjust what
things are going
products
lower.
go into the Thanksgiving meal or Christmas, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But if your focus is on Iran, if your focus is on Venezuela, if your focus is on ICE, they're not doing something that's actually going to solve
Yeah.
the
Any of
issues
those.
of voters. So just let them just run the course, try to keep it as normal as possible, and then win in November. is what I think
Yeah.
the Dems are going to do. But who knows? This is a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of strategy that we both just talked about.
Yeah.
So, yes, right now it's 47.6, no, 52.4. You can also look to see how we are comparing against other prediction markets. We're
Yep.
not at the same because we don't have the
Arbitrage those
same.
bets.
Yeah.
If you think the odds elsewhere aren't what you like, come check us out. We ain't messing with them.
Yeah. So the next one is by January 31st. Will California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, or New York, and then tons of acronyms in this
Yeah,
question.
a
That's why
lot
it
of
was
them.
so terrible. Fail to receive CCDF, which is just Child Care Development Fund, which is the child care kind of subsidy that Nick Shirley was
Yep.
very much highlighted. Fraud in the Somali community, receiving the Child Care Development Fund. TANF is the temporary assistance for needy families. Also, that's kind of the
Mhm.
direct payments that families receive sometimes. Um, SSBG is the Social Security. I actually can't remember that acronym. I should put this in the descriptions. But whether or not they will be able to draw down federal funds. So right after the Nick Shirley video came out, there's this tons of discussions about fraud and all of these programs across the nation. Let's not get into, we don't need a debate that there's
Oh,
fraud and so
I've been
many
going
other
live
programs
watching
and know
all the
why.
Nick Shirley stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's
Uh,
so bad.
but what has resulted is there was the Trump administration targeted these 5 states. They said that they were not going to continue to fund them until they could prove that they didn't have any fraud, which is
Proven
really hard to
negative.
do.
Perfect. We
Especially,
love it.
we could talk about how child care development funding works and just all of the actual implementations of that program and how it's so difficult. Um, but they said that they're going to do a funding freeze. The states then went to friendly judges and
Mm-hmm.
petitioned the court to say this is illegal, you can't do the funding freeze. So now there is a freeze on that funding freeze for I think it's like 10 days or something
Double
like that.
froze.
Um, but it's still out in the open of whether or not
Right.
they will be able to receive those funds. I will write this question in a better way in the
Yeah, we can
future.
edit that a little bit.
Uh, but that's the question. I I am on the fence on this one. I I don't think that they'll be able to target those specific states with the funding freeze because those funds were already appropriated to those states. I think it will just continue. It's going to be held up. This won't happen by that time of January 31st. I don't anticipate it, but I don't fully know one way or the other. I do think it's a bad strategy. Like, I know that he's targeting the states that didn't vote for him, but
Yeah.
there are in every single one of those states Republican
Yeah.
Congress members,
Right.
and you're
Yeah.
you're harming your constituents and directly harming, like, what is a voter in Minnesota who voted for Trump, voted red across the entire ticket, going to do when they are relying on
Mm-hmm.
childcare subsidies and it goes away? And the reason it goes away is because you're saying, well, there's fraud in another city. Like, my response would be like, well, I'm not committing the
Yeah.
fraud. Why would I get harmed?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's such a, who
The
knows?
backlash is gonna be pretty
I
rough
think
on
it's a
that one.
bad strategy.
Yeah.
The same thing with like, the ACAs, a lot
Mm.
subsidies, a lot of his voters directly needed those.
Right.
But I think we're seeing the reaction in the shift.
Yeah.
So that's another question. That's what that question is talking about.
All right. And Clarity Act. Which one's the? That's the crypto bill. That's right.
Crypto bill. So no one has voted on this. I think it's no.
You think it's a
And
no?
I think it's no. I do think that they potentially are going to put forward a different bill
Uh
that's
huh.
not going to be named the Clarity Act. That will do something
Who
similar.
wrote the Clarity Act?
I think it was pretty much Coinbase's bill.
And now they're
I don't
back,
know
but then they had,
who the
because I saw
sponsor
Brian
is.
Armstrong was going against it now too.
Yeah, which
So
I
maybe they
think
made
like
some changes or amendments to what they wrote.
yeah, and it's their bill. So if they are against it, I mean, you saw that got
Yeah.
pulled. It's not going to move until Coinbase agrees to the back and forth. I don't know all the information. I've read a little bit about why Coinbase was opposed to it. But this is another
Another
question that
thing.
we.
By 11:59, June 30th, 2026, will any enacted U.S. law newly ban or restrict members of Congress from trading individual stocks or options? I did see they had a new proposal right on my TikTok feed.
Which
It,
AOC came out against because she said it didn't do much.
which I thought so too. The penalty's $2,000, so it's another fee for doing business. And all right, yeah, $2,000 of my profit is gonna go into the congressional slush fund, which I'm sure they'll just use to pay for parties or something, you know?
Yeah. So, so my take is I think there's a good chance that legislation will pass and be signed into law that resulting a yes in this question,
Mm-hmm.
with the caveat
Mm-hmm.
that they might be restricting quote unquote trading stocks or options,
Yeah.
but it's a band-aid that doesn't actually address
Yeah, because
what
they
we're
also
upset
did
about.
there's no blind trust. They don't have to divest, so you get to it basically freezes everyone's portfolio in place, but it doesn't actually fully freeze it. You just can't buy new stocks. You can only sell what you had at once this gets implemented. And then if you don't follow those rules, it's $2,000. Like, okay, great. But I mean, it has the language of something we would want. It's just the teeth and the legalese, the nuance doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to become another one of those bills where our lawmakers will say, "Look, you asked us to do something. We
Yeah,
did it.
we did
Aren't you
it.
happy? We did it.
We
We
did
did
it. It's
exactly what you
resolved.
asked
It's
for."
concluded.
Exactly.
Nothing left to
And
be
the
done about it. Don't worry anymore.
yeah, and the only thing that they did was just pass a bill that had that name
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah,
but nothing,
basically.
no teeth to actually address the issue.
Yeah.
Uh, so this, in some ways, I thought it was when I first created this question, I thought it was going to be an easy answer of just no, they're never going to do anything good.
Now it's nuanced a
But,
little.
yeah, but now it's like, will they do something that sounds good but doesn't actually do anything? Which is a very different question.
Yeah.
So those are the Polycast questions.
That's all the questions.
We'll keep adding some. We'll be adding more. I
If
think
you want to add
really
some,
right
just
now,
at us and we'll talk it through. We'll put it to some polls. We want everyone active with Polycast, so don't be afraid to ask us to add your prediction market questions. We'd love to do it. Might even I'll place some bets for you. I got politics token, so if you don't even have any token, I'll bet on your side, give you some of the winnings, just this is meant to have fun with. Let's not take it too serious. It's, politics talk with your friends with some money back in that talk.
uh, I'm also gonna add some questions in the near future of like this will resolve yes,
Mm.
and just to try to get people to. If we ever post something that says
Yeah.
this will resolve yes, it's going to resolve yes.
And we'll
So we're
put a
gonna
bunch
look out
in
for
no
those.
as just like free giveaways.
Yeah. So look out for those as well. But yeah, we're totally back. I'm gonna start doing more promotions so people
Hell
know
yeah.
about this. We'll do more ads. We're trying to get the word out. I know you're gonna get a beeper going out
Beeper.
pretty soon. Um, but do we want to keep talking about other questions, or where are you on time?
I think that's good for me. I think next week we'll go over a bunch of the top cast in Cura. So if you're in chat, definitely start casting to Cura. I know it's a little bit rough right now and the team's a little bit MIA, but you know, that's how these things go. We've got multiple clients we can play with. And we'll go over some of the top. We'll just do the top weekly and then we'll have some more curated on the agenda topics, but I want to be tipping some politics tokens. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
loading up my Noise app with a whole bunch of politics so that I can be tipping it out to everyone who gets curated and everyone who's a top cast for the week or the month. I want to go through a bunch of those, have
Yeah.
more fun with it.
And I'll send like $5 to $10 to everyone that joined the call today. So
Oh,
look out for that. I'll just send that.
yeah, I think I'm gonna tag them in the recording cast, kind of like GM
Okay.
Farcaster does. So I'm gonna say thanks all the chatters. Chaz Schmidt, I don't know if you're still here. I don't recognize your name. I don't know if you're from Farcaster. You might be a YouTube viewer who found us. But if
I think he's from
you are on
Farcaster.
Farcaster, we'll give you some tips if
Yep.
you're there. If you don't know
Yep.
how to get on
I'll.
Farcaster, just let us know and we'll get you a referral link, get you on there easy.
No, he's on there. So
Oh,
we'll
he
we'll
is?
get.
Oh,
I'll send
nice.
some politics over. And you know who you Stefaviz is?
Yeah, SNR captain.
SNR. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna send everyone. Thanks for joining. I know we're almost on episode 10. We're gonna get better every single time that we do
Every
this.
time.
But we'll be here next week at 1 p.m.
Oh,
Eastern time,
mm-hmm.
12 Central,
Yep,
and
yep,
10 a.m. Pacific for me.
yep. All right.
Cool.
And that's the politics show. Make sure to buy politics token if you want to get more involved or just get more active and you'll earn it. Thanks for
Yep.
stopping by. Hope you have a
Thanks
good
all.
one.